Lacey. I'm a mom, 3 kids. Penny is 10, Molly is 6, and Jude's going to be 4 next Tuesday. I was a student here at ISU back a while ago. And then I did my undergrad and my master's here in accounting. And after I had Molly, she was born the day after my master's was finished. And I decided to stay at home with her for a while. So I stayed at home for 5 years, had my son in the process. And then I got a call one day asking if I'd like to teach accounting. And so I came back here to teach accounting, and I love teaching. So that worked out really well. And now I'm teaching accounting, and I'm working in the honors program office, teaching some other classes. Whenever I walked across the bridge on campus, you know, coming, like we parked at the Bone Student Center and walk across the bridge, and I looked out on the quad and I was like, this is it. I'm home. And it was like as simple as that. I started as an actuarial science major, so State Farm and everything being here, that was kind of a big draw. But that wasn't my end-all reason for being here. Literally, I walked across that bridge and I knew I was home. I looked at other schools and I never had that same feeling whenever I came on campus. So this is where I ended up, and it happened to be a great school also.
Do you plan on leaving?
No, not in the foreseeable future. I always like to say that I'm open to moving. I had Penny whenever I was still a student here, and my husband has a job here. And so when I was finishing up school, he had a full-time job, and so we were in it to stay here because he was making money. Okay. So that was why we were here. And then whenever I decided to stay at home, there was really, you know, he was still working. So we've talked about possibly moving at some point, but we don't have a reason to move either. We had talked about doing PhD programs and things like that, and maybe moving for those. But no, we're happy here, so we stay here. We're not too far from our families. His family lives here. My family lives only 3 hours away, so we're not too far. Let's see, the biggest thing that we love about it is that our kids have a great school. We have a great church that we go to. So those are our main reasons for staying. Because it would be really, really, really hard to replicate our church community. And our neighbors are the best in the world. We were featured in, I wrote an article for Family Fun magazine about the country's greatest neighborhoods, and we were featured as one of the greatest neighborhoods in the country. But we have the best neighbors, so, and you know, you're that close to your neighbors, they become like family.
Right. So how was the transition for you, coming from real small New Athens to Normal, where it's a mixture of town and city? So how was that transition for you? You said culture shock a little bit, but what else? How'd you get through it?
Gosh, I got involved with the honors program right away. I lived in honors house, so everyone on the 3 floors that were honors house was in the honors program. And that was a great way to meet people, because we got to move in Monday whenever regular move-in started on Thursday. So we moved in early, and I got to meet a lot of people that way. And just, you know, it becomes a small community within this huge community. And so I had people to go to dinner with every night and hang out with on the weekends and go to Walmart with, and, you know, do all that stuff with. I had people that I met that very first day that I was here. So that was kind of how I made the transition, and I turned out that I really liked being in a campus this size. My only requirement for a college, well, not only, I shouldn't say only, but one of the requirements for college was that it had to be bigger than my hometown, which isn't hard to do, but I still have never been in Waterston because it's bigger than my hometown and it's here. I love summers here. That's my favorite part of being here, because I think things tend to get really long in the winter when you can't get outside, but in the summer there's always something going on. There's always music in the evenings, or, you know, there's just all kinds of activities going on, and it's easy to get out and do stuff in the summers, and it's not hard to get anywhere, and parking usually isn't too big of a deal anywhere. And there's a lot of free stuff to do in the summers, and that's what really, that's my favorite time to be here.
Yeah.
I can do without move-in days, and I can do without certain, you know, aspects of the craziness of this city sometimes, but I like summers here. Yeah. Lots of opportunities.
Okay, can you think of your happiest moment?
Oh gosh, that's gonna like tear me up, because
Yes.
So that's pretty huge. I guess. No, my husband's wonderful too. So
Yeah.
anytime that we're happily all together and nobody's like bickering and all that stuff, those are good times.
Yeah. Do you remember yourself before you were a mom?
Barely. Barely, yes.
How have you changed? How has your identity changed?
Good question. Okay. I was a young mom. So I was 19 whenever my oldest was born.
Mm-hmm.
So I was a young mom. So like I said, there's hardly anything before I was a mom. But I guess I used to be kind of really short-tempered and really angry with just people in general, which maybe sounds like a terrible thing, but the older I get and the more I see people interacting with their own kids,
Mm-hmm.
I think the more tolerant I become. Like, for example, I used to get, this is really dumb, but I used to get really, like, angry at, like, basketball games and stuff. Like, if somebody was, I could just get really angry about the littlest things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, why didn't you play that way or whatever. And now thinking, like, that's somebody's kid makes a huge difference.
Mm-hmm.
Helps me to keep my mouth shut, although sometimes I still don't.
Yeah. Do you think that becoming like a wife and a mom has been your greatest accomplishment so far, or do you think it's something more that maybe you haven't done yet? Yeah, greatest accomplishment so far. Everything else pales in comparison. How? See, you're making me, like... I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. No. Really weird, because before I had kids, I was like, I could watch any sappy movie and never cry. Mm-hmm. And now it's like, oh. No, there are no words to describe how awesome it is to see something through your kids' eyes. Mm-hmm. So, seeing them succeed is by far the greatest accomplishment. Mm-hmm. What's your biggest hope for your kids? That they be happy. Yeah. Because nothing else matters. Mm-hmm. Are you happy? Absolutely. Can you think of your saddest moment? Sure. You don't have to tell me about it if you don't want. No. Okay. So when I was pregnant when I was 18. Mm-hmm. So telling my parents that I was pregnant was probably the hardest thing that I've ever had to do. Why was that hard for you? My parents are wonderful people, and I didn't want to disappoint them. Mm-hmm. When I was 18, I wasn't married. It was just far away from anything I had ever done, mm-hmm. or anything that I thought that they expected of me. Like I said, my parents are amazing people. And when I told my mom and dad that I was pregnant, my mom said, "You've always made us proud, and that won't ever stop." Which was absolutely the right thing to say. So there was a lot of yelling at times, and there was a lot of happiness, and nothing that I could do ever make them change their opinion. It's gotta change it. So do you think that you model like your parents' behavior when it comes to raising your own children? I hope so. At times I feel like, there are always times you could do better. Mm-hmm. But I feel like there had to be times where my parents weren't perfect also. Mm-hmm. And I just don't remember those times. So it's a really, like, a high standard. I set myself to a high standard because my parents are amazing. Right.